welcome back, Cedric, and then welcome back to people that obviously looked at the first video. So if you are new and this is the first time you're watching this video, so we want to welcome you as well into our forum, our platform. We have in here a very interesting gentleman, Mr. Cedric Mbianji. So Cedric is here to talk about his experience working with renewables in Africa, also working with me personally, and talked about our masterclass. But if you haven't watched it just yet, I would strongly encourage you to look at the first video where Cedric was just talking, sharing some insight on his personal journey into the industry. I won't tell you more because if you haven't seen it, you need to go and see that first. But Cedric, so welcome back. So let me jump straight into the first question, right? So as I mentioned in the first video, so we've known each other for some time now, and the reason being we have actually worked together. And then I first wanted to thank you for volunteering to come and talk about your experience. So would you mind then giving people a bit of a idea of what has attracted you to connect with renewables in Africa and wanting to work with renewables in Africa, and also me? So that would be good to hear. No pressure, by the way.
Of course, yes. Yeah, thanks for having me again. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I need to start remembering. That feels like ages ago. Well, when I finally decided that I wanted to progress, yeah, and to move to the next step in my quest to get into the renewable energy business or sector. As I said previously, I had the technical knowledge, but I still had a lot of gaps here in my understanding of the sector. So, well, I had to look for someone for a company that could help me fill that gap, yeah. And because I'm one of those people who thinks that we have the resource in Africa, yeah. When I say resource, I mean even the knowledge. Yeah, we have it as well. There are many of us again out there in this sector at different levels. Yeah, so I was looking. Initially I was looking for someone ideally that can understand that understands the sector. That was one thing, and secondly, a person that understands the market, my target market, which was Africa. Yeah, and especially Central Africa as well, or Cameroon. Yeah. So I wasn't just looking for someone to give me details about the business, but I want someone that understood the local market or the African market, because as you know from the way you run a business in OECD countries, it's not necessarily the same way you run it in Africa. Yeah, you always need to adapt. So for me, it was key to find someone that could provide or that could help me with that knowledge. At the same time, focusing that knowledge on my target market. And well, and before that, I heard a lot about what you were doing. First, because I think we've got people we know in common. And then I'd been following you as well in the background. Because as I told you, I was always interested in renewable energy. So when I saw something that was targeted at Africa, and especially Central Africa, or someone from Central Africa, yeah, it was a key interest for me. So and then I took the plunge. Yeah, I think I approached you, and I think we started discussing. So I went over all your platforms, and I was reading a lot about all your insight you were giving on your website. You had interesting articles which were furthering the knowledge of anyone. So when I read that, I was like, okay, well, that seems like someone who knows what he's talking about. And that sense, of course, yes, yes, this is business. So because if you want knowledge, you need to find someone who does have it. Yeah. So I went through your website. Aside the fact that, as I said, we had people we knew in common. So from your work, from a professional point of view, I think I was happy with what I've seen on your website, and after reading all the articles and what you were talking about, all the interviews, and I looked at your not your biography, but I was tracking your steps, yeah, see what you were doing, your conference to conference you were attending. So I was like, okay, well, someone who's got a general overview and is probably going to fill the gaps I have. And then I took the plunge, yeah, and then I I got your contact. I don't remember how now, whether I went through our common whether I went through the person we know in common, or whether I went through your website. I don't remember exactly how now, but
Yeah.
I definitely know that I got in touch with you, and I went straight to the point. And I think you were really happy to embark. I think I've explained to you what I was trying to achieve, and where I was going, and then we had a certain understanding, and then we decided to work together. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
Thanks for that first question.
Yeah, no, thanks for that, Cedric. So, like I say, so I'm asking this question, even me, I feel a little bit embarrassed because I don't like people talking about me in front of me. That's a bit weird. But I thought that was good because the reason I just wanted you to share that first is because I know many people will have the same question that you have, right? Whether it's working with us or working with some other people. But at the end of the day, if you want to get into the sector, you need to find a way to break into that. You need to find people that can support you in that. And I'm sure you would agree with me. This is not something. It's not that easy, right? It wasn't that easy. That's why we are looking to make it easier for people, because all that knowledge, for me, it took me many years to get to this point. I'm sure you as well. So that's what we're doing, what we're doing here now. Obviously, as we engage and we work together. So how did you oh, can you hear me, by the way? I think we had a bit of an interruption, but I just wanted to say, so as we engage together, obviously we worked on the project. But can you share some light on to what was your thinking? So how do you think the approach went? So what was your thinking about that? Is it something that you find were interesting, not interesting? So what? How was it?
I definitely like the structured approach. I think we set a plan and a schedule for how the consultation or the training would go. I think we had, and then we first define a specific milestones as to what we need to achieve by when, and after me telling you about my experience, you defined the knowledge that I needed, that was actually useful for me. Yeah, and once we established that knowledge that was required, all the skills that I needed to acquire, I think you set the plan with that in mind, and I think we tried to align that schedule with my planning as well, because I was embarking on a project at the time. So I really liked the training, in the sense that, well, what I was looking at, I received it. that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. The knowledge I was trying to acquire, I obtained it. Yeah. We talked about the business side. We talked about the financial side. We talked about project structure. We talked about how to make a project sound for investment, and that's for external investors. So for me, I think it was really interesting. I got to understand a lot about a lot of financial acronyms and details that I didn't know about, and that was specific to this type of project. Again, the structure as well, and there was also a good part of it where you've introduced me to some other developers. Yeah, you introduced me to some other developers as well, which was, for me, was a big step up, yeah, because it was I got a glimpse of what could happen when you start putting together projects like that. Yeah, we went through the whole, I believe, went through the whole process of a project, starting from the feasibility side. You looked at the all the data I had, and what was required after that. Then we put it together and we moved to the next step and so on. So it was really interesting, and I found it really enriching. It's
Excellent.
basically, yeah.
Excellent. So basically, I guess that has helped you in your progress, right? So in your quest for purchasing. Okay, let me just actually jump forward because I think again you step into the question that I was going to ask, which is brilliant. And then, but the one thing is you're a very modest man, so I just definitely want people to hear about, I mean, what you have achieved so far as tangible result. Because as we are speaking, um, I know obviously you are running a company yourself, so that's interesting. But yes, so if you can tell a little bit more to people what kind of tangible results you have achieved, you know, from looking to kick off a project to now where you are in about to embark into something quite interesting and exciting. So if you can share some information about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can certainly talk about it. Well, the first result I had was gaining knowledge when I started putting that the first project together. Yeah, the first project, as you know, was I was looking to embark on a solar farm project in Cameroon. So the first tangible result I can say is that we managed to put the project together. Yeah, I did probably all the initial steps, all the feasibility studies, all the environmental studies. I went all the way, and I even acquired the land. I acquired the land. I started discussing with the network operator and the distributors in Cameroon, talking to the government, to relevant people in the government, yeah, and especially the Ministry of Energy, and talking as well with the local distributor in Cameroon, because they were supposed to, well, they were the customer at the end. They were going to buy all the energy produced from that solar farm. So this is where I got to. So I got as far as I could. I think, and for me that was tangible results. Yeah. Of course, the project had to be paused because of the local policies not always not being tight at the time. So I had to park the project for now, just because the policies were not in place. Yeah, they were not fast making things easier, to be honest. Yeah, so that's why I parked it. But regardless, all the initial step all the way to get to that point, for me that was a substantial result. Yeah. Yeah, because I got to know exactly. It's not just about the theory side, where we just say, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. But this time, I went almost all the way. Yeah. So that's the first part. And the other tangible result is that, as you mentioned, I put together, well, I created a company in Cameroon now. The company is called, I can use your platform. It's called Energies. Energies. So, but so I've put the company together, and that's another substantial result. Yeah, the company is been put together, and we have projects going on at the moment, not just for residential customers, but also for commercial customers. So that's another substantial result. Yeah, all the knowledge acquired during our training or consulting period is being transferred into this company I put together, and all the way to I now have a full team. Yeah, basically, I've got contractors, electricians, and all that in Cameroon. And so the business is there, and the business is running. Yeah. So that's another substantial result.
That's great. Yeah, that's an excellent result for me, because one thing that we have noticed is, and that's what we want to give as well with the program, is that people struggle for two things as far as I'm concerned. Number one is to get the knowledge and the expertise. Yes. So that obviously with a bit of hard work, knowing what you're doing, knowing where to go and look for information, who you can approach, you can get it. But then there was a second part. So the second part is, for me, is the confidence, because you already have even lots of people with the right knowledge. They just don't have the confidence to step forward, launch a company or start a project and move with it. So in those two that you mentioned, I can recognize that you have acquired the confidence for you to be where you are now. So I don't know if you see that as well this way, but from external point of view, that's what also I see.
It's difficult for me to see because, I think when you have if you have an idea in mind, I believe you should, or if you have a dream, you should follow it. Yeah. Well, with this time going on, if you realize that if you keep postponing things, they might never happen. Yeah. Look what COVID created. Yeah. Imagine if I hadn't started it before, I probably would have abandoned it with all the problems around COVID. But yes, if you want to do something, you need to go ahead. Yeah, you need to progress it and get to it. So and I can't see the confidence side of me because I'm living. I'm just living it. Yeah, I'm just doing what I have to do to progress. I have an idea in mind is to contribute to the development of Africa, and I've chose to go into energy. Yeah.
Excellent.
So that's my path.
And I can tell you that's a great choice. So let me just wrap it up with asking you one very final and last question. And I just wanted to, because I think there is a lot of people that's still going to be on the fence. Basically, they want to be starting a project, they want to jump into the sector, they're not too sure whether they should do it. They don't know whether they should take that they should do it, or maybe they can do all of it by themselves. So just learning from your experience, what would be your advice to these people? What would you say they should be doing, or just from your gut feeling? What would be your advice to them?
Again, I guess it's up to every individual. Yeah, but what I can advise is that you can do a lot of stuff by yourself, but it will take you a long time. Yeah. Just taking my experience as or my journey. Yeah. I started looking at this 6 years ago. It took me 3 years to get to you. Yeah. Or 2 or 3 years to get to you. Yeah. And I think that if I kept on working by myself or self-teaching myself, it probably would have taken me a lot more time. Yeah. So it's all about the individual, but I think people should try and go to and approach people who have the experience and the knowledge that they want to acquire. You'll definitely fast forward their projects or their dreams or what they're trying to achieve. Yeah. Of course, it's always providing you find the right person. I can only talk for myself. I've been satisfied, with what I've received, and I think where I've got to now, that's a proof that people can approach you to see what you have to offer. Yeah, and so that will be my advice. My advice is, if they want, they can do like me. They can go through your different platform and look at your pedigree. Yeah, I always say people leave a lot of what's the term in English?
Footprint.
A lot of Footprints, exactly, yes. And it's and it's easy to find if you know what you're looking for. So people, when well, for you, for example, yes, you have your pedigree, you have stuff, you have your experience, and people can just go and look for it and see for themselves. If they have any doubts of embarking this journey with you, they can go and check for themselves. But as far as if I can advise any of them, is to go ahead and take one of the master classes. They will definitely come out of it with a lot of knowledge. Yeah, that's what I can advise.
Thank you very much for those very kind words, Cedric. That's cool. So again, I just have to say the reason I wanted to bring you on this program to talk to people is we obviously have not said that yet, but you'll be incredibly proud of what you are doing, and then when we can provide some support to people like you, like I say, you were already driven. So that I can say straight away, right? It's not like I've brought that to you now. Definitely not. You were already driven, and the likes of you, we like to see thousands and thousands in the continent, right? And
Exactly, yes.
and when we have the opportunity to contribute a little bit to that journey, it fills us with grace and pleasure. And I have to say, this is actually what, me personally, is driving me every day. So, right, they're saying that, if I can encourage people to jump on the bandwagon, and then if I can contribute a little bit, my company experience, my personal experience, help them move along the way, that's great. That's what I say. We need more solar developers. We need more Cedric Mbianji.
Definitely, yes.
A lot more, and that's
Yes.
what we are all about. And obviously, the great thing is, Cedric, now we are now working, collaborating together. We are partners now. So,
Yes.
so I have to say. So yes, and obviously for people joining the platform, I'm sure they like the chance as well to interact with you through our platform and see how we move forward. Because obviously now you set up your own company, and then I'm sure you're always keen to hear about partnership and about opportunities. And yeah,
Of
so
course, of
you are
course.
you are you are, you are a developer. You are a developer now, progressively growing. So a pleasure talking to you, Cedric. So as I say,
Likewise.
you
Yeah.
had a field day today, but was a pleasure still to bring you on board. Thank you, and I'm sure we will be talking very soon again.
Thank you very much. Yes, it was a pleasure.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.